At the edge of the African night, 6 lions surround a single small animal. It is no larger than a fox. It has nowhere to run, no pack, no burrow, no ally in the dark. By every law of the savannah, this is the end. And then the small animal charges them. It hisses, it snarls. It lunges at the nearest lioness with a fury so out of proportion to its size that the great cats hesitate, and in that hesitation, the little creature slips through them and vanishes into the grass, barely marked. There is a real, documented account of exactly this. A honey badger that took on 6 lions and walked away. To understand how that is even possible, you have to understand the life of the most fearless animal in Africa, and the strange, ruthless logic that keeps almost every predator on the continent from ever laying a paw on it. This is the honey badger, the ratil, a member of the weasel family, standing barely knee-high, weighing between 9 and 16 kilograms. It lives across the deserts, savannas, and scrublands of Africa, from the dunes of the Kalahari to the foothills of the Cape. And almost everywhere it goes alone. To look at it, you would not guess at its reputation. A low, sturdy body, a broad gray mantle running from crown to tail, short legs ending in claws that seem far too large for the animal wearing them. But every part of this creature is built for one purpose, to make attacking it a mistake. Start with the skin. The honey badger's hide is extraordinarily thick and tough, and so loose across the neck and shoulders that when a predator seizes it, the badger can twist almost completely around inside its own skin and bite back at the face that holds it. Teeth slide off, claws struggle to grip. To bite a honey badger is to grab a fistful of loose leather with a furious set of jaws hidden somewhere inside. Then there are the weapons. Front claws up to 4 centimeters long, tools that can open the hard earth in seconds, tear into a beehive, or rake an attacker's face. Jaws powerful enough to crush tortoise shell and bone, and behind it all, a temperament that simply will not quit. The honey badger does not calculate the odds the way other prey animals do. When threatened, it commits, completely, every time. That ferocity shapes everything about how it lives. This is one of the boldest foragers in the natural world, eating almost anything it can overpower or dig up. Rodents, birds, eggs, insects, roots, fruit. But it is most famous for 2 things it really should not be able to get away with. The first is snakes. Up to a quarter of the honey badger's diet can be made of serpents, including some of the deadliest on the continent, cobras and puff adders among them. Over countless generations, the ratel has evolved a partial resistance to snake venom through subtle changes in the very receptors that venom normally attacks. It is not true immunity. A bad bite can still bring the badger down for hours, or for good, but it is enough that a honey badger can survive a strike that would kill an animal 10 times its size, sleep off the venom, and wake to finish eating the snake that bit it. The second is bees. The honey badger will tear open a wild hive and endure hundreds of stings to reach the larvae and honey inside, protected, again, by that thick hide and by a stubbornness that borders on the absurd. It is, quite literally, where the name comes from. In the wild, some follow a small bird called the honey guide, which leads them to hives in a partnership as old as the savannah itself. This is not a mindless brawler. It is a problem solver wrapped in armor, and that intelligence is a weapon as real as the claws. But here is the real mystery. A honey badger is small. A leopard could kill one. A lion certainly could. A clan of hyenas could overwhelm one. So why, again and again, do the great predators of Africa simply choose not to? The answer is not that they can't. It's that it isn't worth it. A large predator lives and dies by a brutal kind of accounting. A lion, a leopard, a hyena, each hunts for efficiency, for the meal that costs the least to catch. And the currency they cannot afford to spend is injury. Out here, even a small wound can turn septic. A damaged eye, a torn paw, a bitten muzzle can quietly end a hunter's career. And in a world with no medicine, a career ending is a life ending. The honey badger understands this better than any animal in Africa, and so it advertises. When a predator approaches, the ratel does not cower. It makes itself impossible to ignore. It hisses and growls and rattles. It bares its teeth. It releases a powerful stinking secretion from glands beneath its tail, a smell strong enough to turn a stomach. Every signal it sends says the same thing. I am small, but I am not cheap. Come closer, and even if you win, you will bleed for it. For a lion weighing everything against a single meager meal, that is usually enough. The math simply does not favor the fight. And so the king of beasts steps around the little gray animal in the grass. Not out of fear, exactly, but out of cold, hard economics. The honey badger has made itself a bad investment, and it has done so on purpose. That same fearlessness governs its private life too. The honey badger is a solitary creature, ranging across enormous territories, and it defends them with the same intensity it shows to lions. Rivals meet in savage brawls over ground and mates, claws and jaws flashing in disputes that can leave both animals scarred. This is not an animal that makes peace easily, with anything. And yet there is a softer chapter hidden in that hard life. A female honey badger raises her cubs almost entirely alone, carrying a single youngster in a den for months, moving it from burrow to stay ahead of danger, teaching it to dig, to hunt, to fight. For a year or more, the young badger stays at her side, learning the trade of survival one hard lesson at a time. How to read a snake, how to raid a hive, how to face something enormous and refuse to blink. The fearlessness the world sees in the adult is not simply born, it is taught. But it would be a mistake to end on the myth. The honey badger is not invincible, and the truth is more interesting than the legend. Lions and leopards do sometimes kill honey badgers, usually the old, the sick, or the very young, animals that can no longer back up the threat with the fight. The venom resistance has limits. The bravado has limits. In the wild, most honey badgers live somewhere between 7 and 12 years, in a hard land that spares nothing. Its real armor is not immortality. It is reputation. A reputation earned in 1,000 small fights and paid for in scars. And that reputation is now, quietly, its weakness. The honey badger is still widespread, but across parts of its range it comes into conflict with people, with beekeepers, with poultry farmers, with poisons and traps set for other animals. The creature that shrugs off cobras and stares down lions is far more vulnerable to a snare it never sees. So the next time you picture the fiercest animals in Africa, do not only think of the lion, or the leopard, or the great serpents in the grass. Think of the small, gray, bandy-legged creature that all of them have learned to leave alone. Not because it is the biggest, not because it is the strongest, but because, pound for pound, it is the one animal on the continent that has convinced everything larger than itself of a single, simple truth. It is never, ever worth the fight.